Okay, everyone. Hey, we're back again here, and I've got the proverbial sheet out here, and this one is a request video that I wanted to do, and the party asked me to do a video on breaking the habit of negative thinking. Can you dig that one? All right. And boy, that sun's bright when it shines through the window like that, eh? I look like a ghost by now, probably. But anyways, I wanted to do this, and I'm sure that everyone at some particular point has been the recipient of negative thinking. I know I have at a particular point in time over the years. And most of my negative thinking was when I was younger, and most of it entailed around self image, self confidence, all of that kind of stuff. And I would also acquire another part of negative thinking that I called a self destruct mechanism. That every time that things started going well or started getting successful at something, I would do something really stupid to screw it up, make it disintegrate. I didn't have to go around afterwards and apologize for being such an asshole. And I hate apologizing. I don't mind apologizing if apology is necessary, but I hate apologizing when I did something really stupid that wasn't necessary, all because of negative thinking in that perspective. So what what's going on nowadays is we have a lot of people who are trying to come to grips with negative thinking. And for lack of a better expression, negative thinking is a habit. It's like smoking. It's an acquired thing, all right? Now, what do I mean by acquired? Well, let's put it this way. If both of your parents smoked or one of your parents smoked, the likelihood of you being templated with that particular energetic template is highly likely that you might just pick up on it too. In other words, what I'm saying to you, negative thinking is not something you were born with, all right? You didn't come into the world as a negative thinker. You took it on or you acquired it from somewhere. So when somebody wants to work on a certain aspect that they think needs to be corrected within themselves, example, case in point, the habit of negative thinking, you first of all need to look to where the source is. Where did you get it from? Did you have it bestowed on you by the Creator? No. Did some angel wave their magic wand over the top of your head and said, poof, you're a bag of poop, and you're going to think negatively for the rest of your life? No. Did you take some course on developing your negative thinking aspect? No. Did you learn it in school where they had a class on negative thinking and how to do it? No. Is it part of any curriculum that you can think of anywhere? Yes, it is. It's called parenting. And where you learned to get your negative thinking is, whether you realize it or not, you were gifted with it. Now, what do I mean by gifted? The idea here is for people to realize that negative thinking, although a very destructive habit, is not natural to you. It is not natural to you. You had to be taught, impressed, downloaded, templated, impregnated with the habit pattern of negative thinking. And negative thinking, if you go to source, 9 times out of 10 will go from either one or both of your parents, as a general rule. And I want you to think about that for a moment. And while you're thinking about it, say, gee, good old mom and dad, even though they're positive or whatever, they downloaded me with a negative thinking habit and they gifted me with it. And I want you to get pissed off. I want you to get upset because now you know you were gifted with it and you just inherited it from one of your parents, and now you're upset. That's the key. Because when you get upset and you get pissed off and you realize that it's not your habit, that you were gifted with it, when you get upset, you're going to get the attention of the inner child or the little boy, the little girl inside. And at this point, you're going to become self-aware and self-realized, and you're going to realize, well, if I was gifted with this, impressed or templated energetically with this, then it's not mine, then I can get rid of it. Absolutely, yes, you can. And the first thing is to realize the source, realize it's not you, it's not part of your personality. You didn't develop it on your own. You weren't gifted by God or the creative source with it. So something is amiss. And what is amiss is what is the big picture on this planet. There are a lot of things amiss when it comes to consciousness and the development of consciousness in our reality. So according to the process of evolution, all right, which is trying to assist you, Kundalini will activate, Heart Center will activate. And the first two tools that are necessary have been gifted to you from within. Big difference. Gifted to you from within. So now that you have become self-aware and you realize from what source, creative source, you were gifted with this nasty habit of negative thinking, what are you going to do about it? All right? Well, really, you can't blame mom and dad because they were gifted with it from their parents and their parents before their parents, and so on and so on and so on. So now let's try to locate the time when you were gifted so that you can make a much bigger picture than just thinking about negative thinking. You can become a self-aware person who's now going to become realized. And what do I mean by realized? By the time I get finished with this video, I want you to be realized as to how much you've been shafted by all of the impressions, impregnations, and downloads and templating. It had nothing to do with you at all. Everybody else did it to you. So you're a walking end result of everybody else's thoughts, inputs, feelings, innuendos, philosophies, and or indoctrination, religious instruction, educational system. And you go, huh? And then somebody tell me that you have free will and choice. That's the biggest crap of shit I ever heard. There's no such thing as free will and choice on this planet when you realize what's been done to you, all right? Because you're the recipient of a whole pile of other people's indoctrinations and programs. Very few of you have actually come up with your own persona and identity of your personality because you haven't created it, because everybody else created it for you. So in essence, you're a clone. How does that grab you? Now I've really got you upset. Great. I hope to get you more upset as we go along. If you go back to one special time in your life, that time being puberty. Remember that time? Puberty, when the body started moving from childhood to adulthood, and your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, your emotional body, your mental body, and one other body, your etheric body, emotional body, mental body, physical body, etheric body, we're all doing one thing, going through quantum changes. The hormones were beginning to flow through the body. The chakra system was beginning to function, and inflows and outflows. Hormones were beginning to secrete through the body. Sexual energy was beginning to activate within you. And at that particular point, amidst all of this chaos called teenager and the secret world of teenagers, something else was happening. You, and that very divine, gentle, nurturing, soft, potential part of the bright light of your soul, so to speak, was moving closer and closer to your waking state of consciousness. So you and that blossoming consciousness and that blossoming little girl or little boy inside were like this, like two peas in a pod, that close together for that period of time in your life, from about, most people start puberty, what, 10, 11, 12, varies from person to person, for 8 or 9 years. That's the way you were. And can you recall when having a pimple, a zit, a gorge, anywhere on your body, especially your face, was a world-shaking crisis? Everything was intense to the 10th degree. The stress load was incredible. The downloads and the demands through the educational system that were being brought upon you were incredible. Not to mention that during this time of puberty is when you were from a hereditary, genetic, mental, emotional, etheric perspective, templated, downloaded with all of the positive, negative, psychological, personality traits, dysfunctional patterns, positive, creative of your parents. Not only your parents, but your grandparents, your great-grandparents, and so on, and so on, and so on. So that what may have happened 4 generations ago, where a habit pattern may have started to develop. Think big here with me now. Broaden your vision, all right? Of negative thinking may have in 1 generation turned over into negative thinking creating a mental disorder. The negative thinking may have altered the cell structure in your body. And a condition called cancer may have become hereditarily templated in your genetic makeup and your DNA and passed from 1 generation to another. Getting the picture? I know what I'm talking about because I've seen this thousands of times. In my opinion, bar none, the most important time in the development of consciousness and personality as a whole of someone on this planet is the teenage years. And I don't care what anybody says about the younger age being is when it's set. It's not. Everything is set during the time of puberty. During the time of puberty. And at some point, what you inherit with your parents will manifest with you. And I'll give you an example. And I've seen this, I don't know how many times. Over the years, I've had the privilege of counseling a lot of people in relationship difficulties. And I'm not a relationship counselor. I'm not certified, all right? I just know what I'm doing. And I have counseled some people who have been and had children who the father or the mother was very dysfunctional, terrible habit patterns, nasty tempers, prone to drug addiction, whatever. And I've seen this on several occasions where the female in question had a child by this particular type of father. And I'm not picking on men here, the same happens to women. I'm just using this as a reference point because this is the type of people that I attracted to me. And what happened is the father would be out of the picture when the child was 1 or 2 years old. And the mother would later remarry, right? And remarry in 2 particular cases that I can think of to a very positive, creative man. And got a hold of me and she said, I don't understand what's going on. She said, my husband is positive, creative. My son now has just hit his teenage years. And he hasn't even seen his father. There's been no influence at all. And he's acquired every one of his lousy, stinking habits. And he's doing them. I don't get it. Literally, is what she said. And I told her, it doesn't matter. The energetic connection between parents and child, they don't even have to be in physical proximity in the same room. and they will template them with their habit patterns, be they functional, dysfunctional, or whatever. I'm not kidding, folks. I know what I'm talking about because I've seen it. And when it comes to the habit of negative thinking, that's what it is. It's an acquired gift. It really is. And I'm giving you the examples, and it's just one or two of them as to what goes on. So having said all of that, what the hell do you do about it? Can you fix it? Can you change it? Yes, you can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an exercise, a meditation, if you will. And the meditation kind of came to me in a download. Now I'm going to talk about a download for a minute because I want to make this point also. How many of you at this point have had experiences where you wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, all right, and it turns on, and you can't get that puppy turned off again for 2-3 hours? It just keeps going round and round and round. It won't shut off, all right? Are you following me? All right. Why are you waking up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and it's going round and round and round and round and you can't shut it off? Think about it. All right. All right. Now, here's an exercise for those of you who may be in the habit of negative thinking. This is going to take a little bit of practice, a little bit of effort, and a little bit of focus and discipline. Here's what I'm going to propose. First of all, you need to get centered. How are you going to get centered? I'd like you to close your eyes. Take a breath. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Do it 3 times. Very simple. Relax. Now, take your focus and your attention right down to the center of your chest. And I want you to view, sense, and feel, you've heard me do this before, that big, beautiful sunball right in the middle of your chest. And I want you just to focus on it. And I want you to feel the energy of the sunball. Feel the energy of the sunball. Feel it getting brighter. Actually see it as a golden shimmering light, if you want, right in the middle of your chest. Now, see it spreading. See it getting bigger. And it's beginning to spread all the way through your body, going right down, right into the belly, both your legs, both your feet. And it's spreading right up through your upper body, up into your head, until all you can feel is like you're this big, glowing sunball of energy. Feel comfortable? Nice and warm? Safe? All right. Now, take your focus and attention away from the center of your chest. Take it back up into your head. Take it right up here to the third eye. Focus your attention right in your third eye. That's it. Focus your attention right in the third eye. Now, be quiet. Be still. Wait. Now, sense the thoughts that are coming. Feel them. Doesn't matter what they are, only that you discern them as ones you like or ones you don't like. That's the easy part. When you have a thought that you don't resonate with, throw it out. Simply see it passing right out through your third eye, and it's gone. Continue the process. Focus. Let the thoughts come. Whichever one you deem as being negative, it'll have a feeling. Throw it out through the third eye. Now, do that for about 5 minutes or 10 minutes if you want during the day. The idea is this. You want to create a new habit. You want to set up a sorting process that becomes automatic. The only way you can do that is by repetition. And it takes focus, it takes discipline. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a week. It may take a month or two. But it works. What you're doing is you're starting to program yourself to catch negative thinking before it starts getting into a roll or a rumble. So you watch your thoughts, you filter your thoughts, you keep yourself in that balanced state by doing an exercise like this every day for 2 to 3 weeks, and then stop for a week, and then just allow yourself during the day, when you feel a negative thought flowing within you, throw it out through the third eye. Now, the important thing to remember here, everyone, a positive thought and a negative thought will have two different feelings, and this is where the emotional body and the intuitive insight comes into play. When you feel the thought coming, feel if it is positive or negative. If you sense it as being negative, recognize it immediately. Throw it out through the third eye. Do this at any time during the day. You can simply close your eyes wherever you're doing. If you start negative thinking, focus on the thought, focus on the negative thoughts that are coming. Simply throw them out through the third eye, and you're eliminating them. Because if you don't, what happens, they will repeat. All right? Let me give you an example. What I'm seeing a lot in the spiritual communities, especially in the twin flame community, is what I call the looping effect. All right? Where you'll get people into a twin flame group, and what will happen is they get caught up in a whole bunch of belief systems. Okay, and this is where negative thinking comes into play again. And what happens is they get so caught up in the pattern, the thinking process, or the belief system, that you just keep going around and around in a circle and keep doing the same thing. They never grow and they never stop because they get into a loop. And this is the same thing with negative thinking. It's a habit pattern. You can stop it, but you have to identify and recognize it. And this meditation will get you there to do this. All right? It's not complicated. It's very simple. One of the problems nowadays we have is we have too many people coming up with too many complicated ways and formulas of doing things. Simplicity needs to be reinstituted in the evolution of consciousness and the evolution of you as a per se. And please remember one thing. You were gifted with the habit of negative thinking. It is not natural to you. It is not natural to you. You inherited it from somebody as a gift. Remember that. And they have impregnated you, templated you, impressed you, downloaded you. All right. And another thing that I'm going to say to you at this point also, every day, in every way, someone, somewhere, somehow, through some means of media, is trying to alter your behavior for the express convenience of them, not you. All right? Your responsibility as an evolving soul is to undo that programming and reprogram yourself freely as an individual and express free will and choice as to how your personality is going to express in a positive, creative way without the negative influences of others. And this has been what has been going on for generation and generation, and this is what the evolutionary process is about. This is why you've been gifted with a heart center, chakra opening. This is why you've been gifted with the Kundalini. These are the tools of which you don't initially have control of, first of all, until the process is established within you. Then your role as a maturing spiritual adult is to begin to participate in that aspect of your own development and evolution by some simple exercises I've just mentioned. All right. And when you do this and you sort, but you must get focused here first and get the energy flowing in a balanced fashion. And what will happen is you will begin to create thoughts that are neither positive nor negative, but neutral in the sense that they can simply filter through you at that point, and you will draw that information to you, and then you can discern what is acceptable to you at your vibration and state of consciousness and what is not, instead of being programmed. Then and only then can you express free will and choice as to making your decisions in life, because I find at this particular point in time, most people's decisions that they make are not influenced by themselves, but they are influenced by parental input of programmed ingredients that force the individuals to do things they don't want to do, but they do it because they don't know anything else or any other way. Think about what I said. This is a very important video for a great many of you. I hope it benefits you. Use the exercise. It's simple, but it will work. Have a great day, everyone.